Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me. Today we're talking about Dougherty Dozen, but it's not snarky. I'm sure we'll get a little snarky, but we're not. I came across this article. Someone had sent it to me on Instagram by redapple.life, and it actually gave me this thought of like reading her comments, and she's like, this is a good mom. I want you to watch the video with me. And then I just honestly typed in Dougherty Dozen into Google and brought up all the news articles about how she's being covered and how her family's being covered. Now, it's one thing to be snarky, but it's another thing to actually tell you what's actually going on and how the world portrays her. And the fact that she doesn't want to change anything that she's doing is actually quite scary for these kids. So let's talk about it. So here's the video that someone sent me, and it's this lady called redapple.life on Instagram, and she's going through Dougherty Dozen's lunch video. And it's not just a video that pissed me off a little bit. It sort of did, but she's calling her out in a nice way, but it's the comment section. So watch this.
So I'm watching this mum here, and her account's huge. She influences hundreds of thousands of people, and she's an amazing mum. You know, she's got 12 kids, which just blows my mind. She's an incredibly caring person.
No, because my ADD will not allow me to continue without telling you. She does not have 12 kids. She has 11 kids, 10 with which live with her. And Alex was supposed to be at college. Now he's got a full-time job. Keeps changing completely every other day. It changes what this kid is doing. But no, she has 10 kids at home, 11 kids, but one left. So I just want to make sure we're all on board with it.
More than one of those kids is a foster kid, and she takes care of them. So just shout out to that, because that is incredible. I'm watching her fill these little lunch boxes, and she's just opened bag upon bag and divvied it up between the lunch boxes, and it's all processed. There's nothing that's whole food. There's very little protein and very little nutrition. Now she's packed them all in the lunch boxes, and she's including a very small bottle of water and processed fruit, not even a piece of fruit for these kids. You know, if this is the kind of diet they're getting on a regular basis, the negative compounding effect on their health over the days and weeks and months and years of their life, you know, now they come the Pringles.
She's appalled, and she has no idea.
Signing them up for a lifetime of chronic disease.
So she's right. She's signing up for a lifetime of chronic disease. There's a lot of things we talk about. Now, like, a lot of us feed our kids crap. You know, not every single day, but, you know, it sounds like this mom is likely probably a mom who cooks whole foods and makes homemade food, and her kids eat a little healthy, and, you know, not every kid's like that, right? But the Dougherty Dozen kids are on another level, okay? Because every parent is probably guilty of giving their kids too much iPad and too many snacks and all this kind of stuff, and they're trying to, like, you know, live life, especially kids with ARFID and things like that. But what she's trying to say here, and it pissed me off at the beginning, she's like, this is an amazing mom who adopted 12 kids. Now, likely everybody would say that. If you're an adopted parent, you're kind of awesome. If you foster kids, you're kind of awesome. It takes a special kind of person to do that. Very selfless type of person to do that. Now, I'm not putting myself in that category. I never have. Okay? I adopted out of a need to adopt my nephews. Okay, they needed a place, and I was never going to let them just go hanging into the system. Never going to happen. I think that's what family is for. So I don't consider myself in that category of like, we adopted. There are people out there like Dougherty Dozen, like all these other families who adopt on the internet. Not enough Nelsons. You got Dougherty Dozen. You got all these ones who do it, and they want to be patted on the back. You know, crazy pieces, crazy middles. They all want to be like, look how good we are, right? I don't consider myself in that. But it does take a special person to do that, who does it selflessly and who doesn't exploit children for money. It takes a disgusting piece of shit to actually, on the other side, take kids and put from foster care, put them in your house so you can exploit them for cash. I think that's psychopathic, actually. I think there's something absolutely wrong with you that you can't see anything wrong with that. So she clearly, I'm not throwing shade at this lady because she's concerned for the right reasons, but she, you know, like a lot of people accuse me, you don't do research, and I don't expect her to know everything about this, and so I did leave a comment, you know? And so Red Apple, if you're watching this, Dougherty Dozen is one of the worst influencers out there, especially when it comes to kids and adopted kids and everything else, for a few reasons. Okay, first, when she first came on the scene, this woman made more videos about her drinking Red Claw, or what is it called? I have one here. White Claw. Is it White Claw? White Claw. Than anything else. She would make tons of videos, and she would, in her shopping videos, she would put 6 or 7 boxes of White Claw, and her husband has a booze fridge out at the pool. And she even admitted in one of her laundry folding videos that one of her kids were stealing the alcohol. And here's the problem with that, right? There's nothing wrong with drinking inherently. There's something wrong with overconsumption of alcohol. If you need it to survive, if you need it to function, you have a problem, and you probably get that looked at, right? The issue is that every single kid that she adopted or fostered in this home has fetal alcohol syndrome disorder, okay? And we know that because she told us that, right? And they're going to bring up an article where she talks about that right here. I think it's this one. Mama 12 opens up about adopting kids with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. There's an article in Today, okay? Literally in Today magazine about her talking about her children with fetal alcohol disorder. And one of the things that triggers me the most is alcohol. And I don't put it on my friends. I'm old enough now to realize this, like, it doesn't bother me as much. It's not triggering as much as it used to be, but I don't like being around people who are drunk. And I just won't be around people who are drunk. I just don't. I know people who need to party and drink, or people who need to drink to have a good time party. I don't hang around those people. I just don't, because I find it. I just my thing. And I'm not saying it's bad inherently. I'm just like, it's not my thing. But these kids come from so much trauma, and if you know anything about foster and adopted kids, like, you gotta be really careful with how you raise these kids. You gotta be careful with the therapies you give them. You gotta make sure that they're immersed in, like, structure, and they don't have anything that they can fall back on. You are taking on a major responsibility when you foster and adopt. That's why it's not for everybody, okay? It takes a special person, and Alicia is not that person. Her and Josh to this day continue to drink abnormal amounts of alcohol while having 11 kids in their home, 10 kids. You know, when Alex gets home, there's 11, right? Meanwhile, these kids have all suffered from that, and they just don't seem to care. So that's one of the major issues. And you obviously wouldn't know that because, you know, I don't expect you to, right? Not only that, but she would have TikToks on TikToks and reels and YouTube videos about every diagnosis these kids have. Like, she would put it on screen and stand in front of green screen of her children's full page diagnosis of what they had wrong with them and tell everybody everything. And she saw no problem with this. Zero problem. She did a video early in her channel, sitting there in a chair with her eyeliner, telling us how she doesn't feed her kids red dye, and her kids came with all these food aversions, and she had to, like, reset their gut health. And now when you see what she feeds them, like, what? So she reset the kids' gut health so she could feed them bullshit. That's what she's telling us. She's like, well, we did reset. We did a hard reset, so now they can have red food dye number 40, and they can have, you know, tons of candy and sugar and carbs and all this. We reset their, so she admitted literally that she reset their gut when they came to them so that she could feed them things that you're worried about them being fed. And let me tell you this, another thing. What you're watching there, that lunch that they're getting, is likely the healthiest damn thing that she'll ever make them. And that should scare the shit out of you. Scares the shit out of a lot of us. Okay, you see that lunch, and most of the commenters are like, you're such a good mom. Look, a lot of our kids eat lunches like this, okay? A lot of kids eat. Like, I could understand, too, if people are poor, right? And in this day and age, it's almost more expensive to feed your kid this shit now, which is actually a good thing. But I could understand, as a kid who grew up poor, you have no choice, okay? You sort of don't have any choice. And so I'm never going to throw someone under the bus who doesn't have a choice. If what you're going to feed your kid is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with crackers and chips, and that's all you can afford, then so be it. At least your kid's getting some food. We're not shaming Alicia for just, you know, the bare minimum. Oh, she's adopting all these kids, so she's got to do what she got to do. Alicia makes millions of dollars a year, could literally hire a private chef that could feed them the best, most nutritious meals on planet Earth full time. Nope, and not even a drop in the bucket of what she makes, she could hire someone to do this, and she won't. It's not like she's out there struggling. Okay, last month, spent something over like probably $20,000 on just junk food and shit for her kids. Okay, that's insanity. Last year, I know I'm trying to bring a lot of people in this, and you all know this. She spent $945,000 on camera that we know of. $945,000. Okay, most people won't make that in their lifetime, and she spent that in 1 year. Okay, IRS is going to intensify on her. She took a second mortgage on her house this year because she's running out of money. Okay, her channel has collapsed because no one wants to watch the same damn muffin board over and over again, or the same damn birthday. Here's another issue, Red Apple Life. I know this is an open video to you, but birthdays are crazy. You should see what she buys these kids. Her home has something like 19 TVs in it. Okay, they live in a home built for a maximum family of 6. It's not even zoned to have, at one point they had something like 14 people living in this home. Okay? They were on septic for until up to this year. They were on septic and had to pump that thing every other week. That's insane. Pumping a septic every other week? I pump my septic every 5 years. Okay? This home is not built for this type of family, and she made so much money, she could have got into a larger home that could fit the needs of her family. Okay? So that's not even it. We're not even there yet. Okay? If you happen to just go look at any of my videos, look at her mini fridge restocks. Okay, it's actually bananas what she does. So it's rage bait, but it's not rage bait because she actually does feed her kids and stuff. So Christmas last year, she bought all of her kids a little mini fridge. It's about this big. Okay, it's not huge. But every single week on her channel, she does a mini fridge restock. And I want you to just go watch a couple of them, okay? Because a lot of them are like 50 chocolate bars, 5 to 10 bags of M&Ms. And I'm not talking little bags. I'm talking family-sized bags of M&Ms. Okay? Whole fridge full of Coke and soda. Whole fridge full of gummy worms like lollies or whatever, trolleys or whatever they're called. Okay? One kid wanted Reese's Pieces, so the whole fridge is full of Reese's Pieces. And I mean, like, this could feed an adult for a year. I'm not joking. Every single week she's filling these kids' fridges with garbage, except for one kid who's like, I want chicken or I want steak. That's the only kid getting anything healthy. Okay? And people are like, well, she's just rage baiting, and it's true. But at the same time, someone's eating it. Okay, these kids are conditioned to eat nothing but garbage. Like I said, this lunch that they're eating is likely the healthiest thing they'll eat all day. So her schedule goes like this. She wakes up at, like she says, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. She starts cooking breakfast around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. The breakfast is hot and ready at about 6:30, okay, where none of the kids are up. So not only these kids never get a hot meal ever, even if they did get the hot meal, it's like reheated, burnt bacon, burnt toast, everything's burnt. She doesn't take any care into anything she feeds her kids. Anything that she makes homemade, we know her kids don't eat it. Because we've seen multiple videos where she's made like 100 pounds of mac and cheese full of like, it looks disgusting, but then she'll like pan over eventually after a meal and you'll see that none of it's been touched. She has 57,000 boxes of cereal in that little closet, and that's what they eat. Okay, and it's never a healthy cereal. It's never Cheerios, cornflakes, even though those aren't probably the best either, but it's never those. It's always Fruity Pebbles. It's always chocolate cereals. It's always cereals full of just pounds and pounds of sugar. It's all she feeds these kids. There's a snack bin in that same cupboard, just overflowing with this. These kids have 100% access to this 24 hours a day. Not only that, again, the mini fridges are in their rooms. They're not somewhere that she can just lock it up. She puts them in the room so they have access to candy, soda, and everything 24 hours a day. While their 19 TVs are hooked up, every one of the kids has a Switch, every one of them has a gaming system, every one of them has an iPad, every one of them has a phone. There is no interaction with their children. They are being watched by playing video games and just immersed in their own sickness. Okay? These kids are lethargic. They're probably sick all the time because they are fed nothing but shit. Okay? We watch her because it makes us feel a little better. So all that to say, Red Apple Life, I appreciate what you're trying to do here. I appreciate you're trying to be like, she's an amazing mom because she adopted kids, but you just don't know the whole story. And by saying that, you're actually diminishing amazing moms and dads out there who adopt kids and don't do this stuff. Right? So I understand what you're trying to say, and I understand you're trying to draw more bees with honey than you do with, electricity or whatever. I don't know the things. But I understand what you're trying to do here, right? And I just think you need to be corrected. So I wrote this. I said, no, she's not an amazing mom. She has 11 kids, one of which wanted to leave because they didn't want to live there anymore. She got big and rich by exploiting these kids' stories. Half of her kids are adopted and all have FASD, the adopted kids. And we know that because she told us, even though these kids have this, and her husband Josh are both borderline alcoholics. This is stuff that they have shown us, okay? And the hardest part here is that this woman is scared of this lunch she's feeding them, and it's the healthiest meal they'll have all day, okay? But here's the comments. This is what's pissing me off, because there are still people out there who don't know the depravity and evil that Alicia is, okay? Someone writes, yes, this isn't about shaming, as I shame her. You know what's even worse than processed food? No food. And Get Lash, we understand that. But no one is saying this woman can't afford, like, are you saying that she's poor? You think she's poor? Are you saying that she shouldn't feed her kids food if you can't feed them nothing but junk? Like, again, there are lots of people out there who don't have a lot of money who can still feed their kids pretty well. But I know that there are people who can't. And so I understand that too. But you know what's better than some processed? No food. But she can give her kids literally anything that they want. Again, could hire a personal chef that can come cook every meal in their home full time, but she won't do it. Someone writes, no food is worse than processed food, but those that can afford food need to be educated since, believe it or not, many don't know better. It's true. Someone writes, that's what's so scummy about her account. Her very early video, she explains behavioral issues and special needs of some of her children and explains how nutrition is huge in managing their issues. Now she's sacrificing the health of her children for clout. That's it. That's in a nutshell. I wrote, that might make sense if she was poor, but she makes millions of dollars a year. And then someone, see, this thing's pissed. Ginger Foss writes, such an unnecessary and disgusting post. You added absolutely zero value. You honestly should be ashamed of yourself instead of shaming this mother. And this is the thing that the internet pisses me off. As soon as you like make fun of somebody or shame a mom, you're like, it's a mom, you shame. Are moms like not allowed to be, are moms not allowed to be called out? Are you immune from being called out for being shit? Is that what we're doing now? Like, you just, because you're a mom, you have this brick wall in front of you can't be made fun of? Something like that? Bully exploiters. And I'll keep saying it. They deserve it. If you're a mom and you're making shitty choices and you're doing stupid stuff, then you should be called out, especially if you put it on the internet for everybody. Like, but people are out there, you shouldn't be shaming your mother. You don't know anything about this mother. She's a shit mother and she influences other mothers. I hate idiots like this. Someone says it's not shaming, it's education. Oh my gosh, and now reading through the comments, y'all are why I don't have friends that are mom. The reason you don't have friends, assholes, because you're a douchebag. Such judgmental bitches. So glad y'all are perfect. This is it. Like, we're not expecting perfection. But when you're an influencer out there influencing other people, and you're the person that she's influencing, you think this is okay. And other people will be influenced to think that this is okay too. And that is effing dangerous, everybody. That's dangerous. Someone said, no one teached you manners. Again, it's really divided here. It's kind of interesting, this comment section. She does feed her children nutritional food. Enough with the shaming. You could show good options, alternative versus creating moms. See, again, this mom shaming shit. No, shame bad moms. Shame them. Shame bad dads. Shame bad people. They deserve it. If you're deserving of shaming, get shamed, bitch. Shame. Bring back shame. That's the problem with the world today. You're like, oh, don't shame or bully or make fun of people. You know, do it more. Bring it on. People who are bad need to be called out. That's just the way this should be. I hate this stupid old mom shaming. Like, that's not something that, it's not some umbrella that covers all things. If you do something deserving of shame, get shamed, asshole. I wrote, this is Crystal. You're out of your mind if you think she feeds these kids anything nutritious. You're a damned liar. She fills their individual mini fridges every week with things like 50 chocolate bars and bags of gummy candies. Get wrecked. Someone says, because she's sponsored by the junk food and gets paid to make videos for it. Let's start an uninfluenced movement. Yet, yes, hard-boiled eggs, carrot sticks, celery sticks, and nuts and raisins, flax seeds, muffin. I don't know about flax seeds, but no, she's only sponsored by a couple. And I think, what's the Sunny D is one of them. But she's not sponsored by most of the things. But she's sponsored by Sunny D, which is straight poison, but it's delicious. Someone says, have you seen the price of eggs? Before you shame her, why not put emphasis on the outrageous price of groceries we're experiencing? Why can't you do both? Why can't you shame shitty people and talk about the expensive groceries? Don't forget, and this person clearly doesn't know anything. She has like 10 chickens the size of small dogs. Okay, she's got a garden, and she makes millions of dollars a year and spends literally $3,000 to $5,000 a week on groceries. And it's all bad. You can, I don't care how many people you have in your house, if you spend $3,000 to $5,000 a week on groceries, you could buy fresh, healthy foods and make good meals. Okay? No one's saying don't make great meals. You can make great meals that are comfort food. Okay? But you're making it with real ingredients. That's important too. Even the cheese that Alicia buys, apparently I've found out in the States, that's why Canada doesn't have this stuff. If you open a box of Fruit Loops in Canada and a box of Fruit Loops in the US, and I should probably go get them, you should see the color difference. It's crazy. We don't have those red dyes in our foods. I'm not saying we're better, but we are better a little bit, right? Your country absolutely makes it hard for people to have healthy foods too. The cheese, I was talking about the cheese. We don't get those huge giant ass bags of cheese because we don't put something they put on that cheese so it doesn't go bad. A flour-based material or something that keeps it so it doesn't stick together. And apparently that's even worse for you. So we don't do stuff like that in Canada. We're better than you, basically. Oh my God, the foods that she's feeding them though. And then someone says, is corn not a whole food? I don't know. Have you ever pooped before after eating corn? A beef patty and a yogurt do not contain protein. See carbs, fats, and protein. This person's trying to pick it apart like it's like the food pyramid. I see good carbs and fats and protein. First of all, the yogurt she put in there is full of sugar. It's all sugar. Okay, it's not just some like Greek yogurt with like a little bit of vanilla in it. It's like all sugar. Okay. I see carbs, fats, and that the little protein she's talking about, the little patty of that thing, that shit is probably made of sawdust. Okay, let's be real. Someone says, I don't usually comment and post, but this is ridiculous. Children all across America literally don't have food, and we're going to look down on this mom who's packing a lunch that is either on par or better quality than school lunches? No, it's not. No, it's not. You're just an idiot. Someone wrote, all that processed junk every single day. She's doing these children no favors. Chronic diseases suck. And not all those kids are healthy weights. My mother's fed is very similar. Now I'm struggling with a lot of chronic health conditions that are very linked to that diet. Processed food is barely food and has so much toxic additives. You're part of the problem if you think this is fine. And then the person claps back. I agree to disagree. No, you can't agree to disagree on children's health. You can't agree to disagree on that. I think it is elitist to say that processed food is barely food. It is barely food. Especially the shit she feeds her kids. She buys 1,200 mini muffins to feed them. It's crazy that people are going to bat because you know why? It's because all these people feed their kids the same shit. And people don't want to feel guilty. Right? I understand that. Like, people don't want to feel like this woman is calling it out, and they don't like crunchy granola moms being like, oh, you should only feed your kids carrot sticks and celery. That's not what she's saying. But people are feeling really, really pushed. They're feeling targeted because they do this. And they don't want to be told that they're doing something wrong. Right? But she's nice about it at least. You can tell she's not being a bitch about it. Someone says, you did a great job with your approach to this. She's a great mom. No, she's not. And yes, lots of processed food. I wish we had more awareness when mine were little, but the more you know, the more you could do. This is a different world, and I'm glad you raised awareness with all the impacts of processed foods. And then Red Apple says, I realize conversations like these are sensitive, and I try to lean in with compassion and understanding. It is a crazy world nowadays. It's so important to talk about these things. And I wrote, Red Apple Life, I know you want to lead with compassion, but this woman is not an amazing mom, and saying that diminishes actual amazing moms. Someone says, she certainly needs a family garden. She does. Someone says she has a garden. She made pickles once. Wait, what? Standard American diet. It's all programming. She's been programmed by the standard American programming in grocery stores. We, viewers, they are encouraging her day after day to go to whole organic foods and real fruits. She's making progress. Who, Dougherty Dozen's making progress? No, she's not. It's getting worse. It's little by little. People sometimes just hear criticism rather than helpfulness. You have to go with gentle. No. Sometimes you gotta force people to do what you gotta do. That's why California and Illinois passed laws to pay these kids. Okay? Sometimes parents won't do it, especially these parents. Okay? None of these parents are good. You know why? Because they spend their whole fucking day on the internet making content to make money. They don't have time to be making nutritious meals and shopping properly. Someone says, let's be honest, it's probably cheaper to feed 12 kids this way than the expensive organic food. Look, I understand what people are saying. This woman here, Savannah, is in this comment section a lot going to bat, white knighting for Dougherty Dozen. We're not saying we want you to feed your kid only organic, grass-fed, this and that and the other thing, grown in pig shit. We just want you to stop feeding them candy all day long. That's a start. Let's just start there. Maybe a little less cheese. Huh? How about that? Huh? Maybe less muffins, cookies, something like that. Maybe cereal that's a little bit more healthy. Maybe some oatmeal. I don't know. We're not, it's one or the other with these people. Like, the people go to bat for Dougherty. What do you want her to feed her kids? Just grass? You're such a stupid asshole. No, but cut back even a little bit. You dumbass. Don't give her grace. You don't get grace. There is no grace, especially if you have literally 3 years of content on the internet where you exploited these kids and fed them nothing but garbage. There's no grace when you've done it for 3 years and made millions of dollars. No grace for you. Someone writes, as someone on a budget, I would have to disagree. You can get 2 bags of apples for the cost of those Pringles. But I also understand it isn't always easy to get kids to try new foods or eat healthy. My oldest loves almost all fruits and veggies. My second is a tornado who gauges when she tries new veggies. It's been a rough journey trying to teach my second kid about the delicious foods out there. I did not have a healthy diet growing up, so I still have my own struggles. We live in a lower cost of living area, and my oldest gets made fun of because all of her fruits and veggies when all our other kids are having Lunchables. Yeah, don't feed your kid Lunchables, please. Especially not those ones from freaking Mr. Beast. Don't do that. Don't feed your kid that bullshit. Surprised Dr. Dozen didn't buy a kid Lunchleys yet, so she could be like, maybe I'll get a shout out from them. It's cheaper to have high-functioning, maturing girls and boys who feel well because they eat well. Simple economics. I would venture to say you eat processed. What he's saying there is it's cheaper in the long run to feed your kids good. It might be more expensive, but in the end, it's going to save a whole shit ton of money in medical bills. Where's the apples, bananas, berries, stone fruit, seeds, maybe salad roll with lettuce, carrot, cucumber, tomato, avocado, cheese? She's going to make... They're going to say, well, she has to make this for 11 kids. She can't do that. And again, one of the kids gets a ketchup sandwich. You think they're going to eat any of that stuff? I'll tell you where all that good nutritious food is. In the garbage. The kids throw it out. The parents pack it for the kids and the kids throw it away in the bin at lunchtime. Also, Alicia will buy literally 1,200 of those little bite muffins and buy one little bin of strawberries or raspberries. right? For every one raspberry, she buys her kids 5 bags of chips. That's where it's going. They don't eat the stuff because they have other options. If a child has an option to eat something processed and sugary and delicious, they're going to choose that over fresh fruit and veg. You got to train your kids to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay, you have to train them. And if they don't, sorry, you might have to go hungry for a little bit. I'm telling you this. If you ever, I'm not suggesting you should starve your children, but if you ever had been so hungry after a whole day of hiking or swimming or something crazy in or something happened where you didn't eat for some reason, you were just literally starving. I mean, that's happened to a lot of people, okay? I mean, the day got away from you or something happened or whatever, and whatever meal is put in front of you is your favorite meal for the rest of your life. That whatever you eat after you're starving is crazy. Do you ever have that? Sometimes you got to encourage your kids to be look, you're not going to eat what I'm putting in front of you. You're just going to have to go to bed hungry. And a lot of people are well, that's abuse. I don't think so. We grew up kind of that way. If you didn't eat what was put on your plate in front of you, you went to bed. You just went to bed hungry. This is it. You're going to be hungry enough. You're going to eat. There is food for you to eat, but when you're hungry enough, you're going to eat it. Alicia needs to do literal therapy for her children about just what they eat now. So not only the trauma coming to them, FASD and all the other issues they have, but she's also going to now have to literally take them to therapy if she wants them to eat better. That's how crazy their life is going to be. Here's another comment that's stupid. Tell me you have never had to worry about obtaining food of any nutritional value. I'm 100% sure any food is better than no food. Judging by the accent, you have no clue the food disparities in the United States. Have you seen the UK? She has 12 kids. No, she doesn't. She has 10 living with her right now. Maybe that's the best she can do on budget. No, it's not the best. Again, just go look at her channel. She spent $17,000 last week. I grew up poor, and yeah, she's not poor. That's the problem. She's not poor. She splurges thousands on back-to-school clothes and birthdays for each child. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Give them apples instead of that package crap. Apples would be cheap. Apples are delicious. Have you ever had an apple? They're so good. I was in the same boat as you as a child. These people have a lot of money. I've seen them spend thousands on gifts for one child for one birthday, $50,000. Remember? They're not poor. Again, some people are out there being poor, oh, how dare you shame someone you can't afford? Here's the issue. You're in different classes. She's a millionaire. You're not. We're not talking about you. If that's how you have to feed your kids, then that's so be it. At least you're getting food. You're right. But she's not in that boat. Okay? She's on a yacht while you're on a dinghy. So anyway, the comment section pissed me off. And then I was like, let's just look at these articles, okay? Alicia and Josh Dougherty began fostering children after experiencing 11 miscarriages. Alicia Dougherty went viral on TikTok after posting time-lapse video of her next-level meal prepping skills. Next level. Cough. For a family of 10 children. But there's so much more to Alicia than her family of the Dougherty does. And when was this written? 2022. 10 children. Oh, this is because she's back to 10 children. But there's so much more to Alicia than her family of the Dougherty does. And they're known on social media since they first went viral. They've added 2 more foster children who hate being on camera, most of them. All 6 of Dougherty's adopted children have fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, a group of conditions that occur when alcohol passes from a mother to her baby through the umbilical cord. FASD can result in a mix of physical behavior and educational issues. These kids tend to have very poor executive functioning skills. Alicia, who lives in Pittsford, says, ours have explosive rage, anger issue, and trouble with transitioning. There are many, many meltdowns. She's putting this in an article out to the world. Alicia noted her 16-year-old son, Alexander, is not a typical teenager, which is common for people affected by FASD. Socially and emotionally, they are not the same age as they are chronologically, so they don't understand the social cues of their peers. I don't see that in Alex. I see Alex as a maturing young man. I don't see what she's saying there. He seems normal to me. I just think he's a product of his upbringing, not of his FASD. Alicia, 41, and Josh, 43, began fostering in 2010. We were like, what do we get ourselves into? Blah, blah, blah. We know the whole story. Alicia said James has been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, double the score of a war veteran. But it's nothing Alicia can't handle. She credits her patience to growing up with a brother who was bipolar. I'm used to being around random crying and big emotions. She said it's my norm. But she's not. She doesn't do anything with it. We've seen her when the kid comes in the room. She zones out. She completely separates herself and she goes into this other world. It's not like she's doing anything. She just disassociates herself. That's not healthy. She's like, I can handle it because I don't even hear it or see it because I disassociate. That's not good. As for Josh, he's determined to be the father figure that he never had. Well, you failed, asshole. Josh was raised by a single mom who worked 3 jobs, she revealed, and so Josh loves having his big family. No, he's never there. Damn articles. This one here, it's another article from the UK Sun. A woman left people totally stunned after showing off a typical shopping trip for 11 children. Alicia, this was written in July 2024. Alicia Dougherty, mom of 11 from U.S. who previously left people stunned of her chaos hour routine, explained that she had 4 trolleys loaded to the brim after visiting a local Walmart. This is literal international news. She makes international news for her food choices for her children. She stocked up on all things from eggs and cheese to bagels, muffins, and of course made sure to get a trolley full of fruit. No, she didn't. She got a half trolley full of fruit and vegetables. Probably. Meat. I can see the meat, yes. Posting online under the username Dr. Dozen, is based in New York, has 6.7 million followers on TikTok, shared a clip showing of her weekly food, blah, blah, blah. When it came to the third trolley, cart 3 headed over the process, produced, anyway, this is a bump up article that's trying to make her look good. Maybe she paid for it. This article pissed me off a little bit. How this mom of 10, including 6 with fetal alcohol disorder, conquered pandemic. Imagine you're a kid. Okay, and you're growing up and you become a teenager. And there are articles on MSNBC about your fetal alcohol syndrome disorder. You are world famous for having fetal alcohol syndrome. Imagine your parents put that out there on the internet and the world and did interviews with massive articles. That's what pisses me off about this stuff. These kids have no choice in this. There's no consent to this. Telling the entire world everything wrong with your kids. That's insane. Everybody, insane. And this, I only pulled up 5. There's hundreds of articles like this. So this is on MSNBC. When schools closed in March 2020 at the start of the COVID-19 outbreak, Alicia Dougherty suddenly found herself at home with all 10 of her children. Between live classes and asynchronous work, the family school day often didn't end until 9 p.m. We had to upgrade to business Wi-Fi, said Dougherty, whose children ranged from 3 to 10 years old. It still didn't work. The kids' Wi-Fi shut down several times a day. While her husband Josh, a teacher, taught his own high school special education students via Zoom from his home office in Pittsburgh, Dougherty had to corral the rest of her brood, many of whom had specific educational and behavioral needs, to make sure everyone was focused on learning. They pretty much all needed me one-on-one. And so that's why you shouldn't have that many kids if you can't give them what they need. You understand? They couldn't get what they needed, and you're admitting it right here. Fortunately, Dougherty 40 happens to have a degree in special education, but finding the physical space and patience to give each child attention was a tall order. Eventually, the kids with the most intense behavioral and educational needs returned to in-person school 4 days a week, and the teenagers were in school 2 days a week. The change relieved some of Dougherty's school-related multitasking, but it made the week feel like a logistical nightmare. Dougherty, however, persevered. Anyway, it goes on to talk about them. All 6 of the Dougherty adopted children have fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, a group of conditions, blah, blah, blah. The Doughertys didn't realize that Alex had FASD when they welcomed him to their home. He only received his diagnosis after the couple sought an explanation for Alex's behaviors. Again, this is on the internet. This kid has to live with this on the internet. Then the Doughertys became the go-to foster home for kids with FASD. This is so crazy. Think of this for a second. So fostering organizations are like, we got this kid with FASD. Some people don't want to take kids on. Well, the Doughertys will. They'll take him on. We realized we were fully equipped to advocate for kids' academic education. No, you were not. You were not. You put them on the internet and then you stopped parenting them. That's what you did. You gave them TVs instead of parenting them. You gave them switches and gaming systems and computers and locked them in the room with a fridge full of candy. That's what you did instead. FASD is apparent in toddler-level tantrums and sleep disorders of the adopted. Dougherty said the most difficult aspect of FASD is the kids' lack of executive functioning skills, which are the mental process that enable people to make plans, focus attention, and remember instructions. They don't really problem solve for themselves. They can't take multi-step directions, and often they can't even follow through in a one-step direction. They might lose their focus because it's not concrete enough for them. I have to literally be their executive functioner. And you could also teach your kids, but she refuses to. She just waits on them hand and foot. Know your value, chatted with Dougherty to find out. Going remote. Dougherty called remote school days in her Pittsburgh, New York home intense. Teenagers did their work in their bedrooms, as did their 9-year-old. The triplets, biological son Dash, 7, and 2 adopted twins, Jason, 6. How can be triplets if you're a year apart? Anyway, it's stupid. Were in the same class at school. They borrowed laptops, so each child had a separate screen. Dougherty had to set them up in 3 different areas of the house so the sound wouldn't echo. Bodhi, their biological 4-year-old with autism, had remote sessions for, oh my God. Being a foster parent in general is hard. It's hard. Dougherty said, these children have a lot of issues and a lot of trauma, and you're helping them process it and heal from it. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's definitely this is when she puts these shits in these articles where she wants to come across like we're doing so good. Just watch her stuff for yourself. She has no time for any of the things that she's saying. There's no way. She hangs out with one kid for 1 hour once a week, maybe. And often that never even happened. Maybe every other week. So to hang out with her 10 kids would literally take her well over a year to have one-on-one time with one child. 1 hour a week. It's insane. We remind them that Doughertys don't quit. You got to keep going. And this is it right here. This is where it all boils down. Quality time. One thing Doughertys appreciated about enduring pandemic together was all of the family time they were able to enjoy. This is 2022, the kind of like when they were first starting, getting a few 100,000 followers, a couple million on TikTok. We went from spending no quality time together to spending 24/7 quality time together. She admitted this in an article that they spent no quality time together. This family of 13 at one point spent no quality time together. She's admitting it out loud. And now the kids are back to school. Do you think they're back to spending quality time? No, they're not. She spends her time at the fire department's parking lot scrolling her phone for hours. That's what she does. Okay, she goes grocery shopping in the morning. She spends her time opening packages from strangers. She does not spend time with the kids, neither does Josh. Imagine having that many kids in a home that need therapies and all this kind of stuff and not spending any time with them. She admitted it right there. That's a bombshell right there. But in the summer 2020, Doughertys found out constant togetherness without structure was a little too much. We were stir crazy with 10 kids at home. Dougherty noticed that her kids were engrossed with TikTok. Her kids were on TikTok. Another parenting fail. I didn't even know what it was called at the time. She said Dougherty made an account, and then one day she made a video and made another, and we would find a dance to learn or something funny, blah, blah, blah. Now Dougherty and her family post a video almost every day. No, probably multiple times a day. And their TikTok account is 1.8 million. Now it has 6.5 million. It's crazy. Here's another article from the U.S. Sun. Pack it in. This would stress me out. People say his mom takes different packed lunches for 11 kids and some just get ketchup sarnies. A mother has left people open-mouthed after she shared the reality of making packed lunches for 11 children. Alicia Dougherty, a mom of 11, revealed that she makes 11 different sandwiches for her little darlings, with some opting for tuna, whilst others prefer marshmallow fluff. Look at this. That is disgusting. Look at the jam. She doesn't even put, no care, no love put into even the shittiest food. Some people can put love and care into shitty food. But that's not all. Social media users were left even more baffled by one kid choosing to have just ketchup on a sarnie. Yes, you heard that correctly. Posting online under the username Dougherty Does News from the US, blah, blah, blah. US? TheSun.com? The US? Sounds like it's not from the US. Anyway. As she proceeded to make sandwiches for her children's lunchbox, she said, "Here's what my 11 kids got in their lunch today. Their entree is a sandwich." Anyway, we know what she does. This article has every kid's freaking name and age in an article on the internet. Crazy. Again, just type in Dougherty Doesn't into Google and go to news and just look at it. Look at this. Pages and pages of articles about her. I'm talking thousands of articles about this family. These kids didn't ask for this. These kids didn't choose this. They didn't give permission for their likeness to be on the internet and their stories to be put out there. A lot of these kids are going to go no contact. As soon as they get the ability to leave, they're going to leave. Alex is pretty much left. He comes home for some food here and there. And we don't even know what he's doing because I'm sure he's told Alicia not to tell anybody. I'm sure he's sick of it. Being bullied on TikTok every single day. Death hoaxes. And imagine you made your son so famous and so bullied on the internet that there's death hoaxes about him. These kids did not choose this. And people out there calling this mom a good mom. Stop fluffing up people who exploit children and being like, yeah, you're a good mom. No, you're not. You're a shit piece of garbage, Alicia. You and Josh can kiss my ass. People, we need to start realizing that people who exploit children are not good people. None of them are good people. They cannot be good people. They're mutually exclusive. I don't care what you do in your personal life, but if you exploit children for cash and don't give them the ability to say no, and you put it on the internet and in articles forever and ever and ever, emblazoned on the internet forever, you're a piece of shit. You should be ashamed of yourself. So there you go. That's what's going on with Alicia. And people out there, if you follow this lady, send her this video. Okay, Appleseed or whatever your name is. I know you meant well, but redapple.life, I know you meant well, but she's an asshole. But thanks for doing that video. I appreciate bringing it to my attention that other people think that this is crazy. This is awesome. Everybody, take a deep breath with me. If anything, Alicia's drawing attention to people who are like, oh, I got to make better choices. Maybe this week, do something cool with your kids. Be like, you know what? We're going to make something really healthy and delicious. We're going to try new foods. We're going to try apples this week. We're going to try strawberries and fresh berries. And, you know, if you can't afford it, try to figure a way you can get it done. Okay? Like, forego everything that's going to make your kids sick. And if you do feed your kids like this, I mean, you got problems. You got to really figure that out. Again, making homemade meals is always better. Even if they are comfort food, it's always better than this bullshit. Always. And that's coming from a guy who grew up on nothing but shit like this because that's all we could afford, right? And now I don't have to. I can buy great stuff for your kids, and you should. You should love your kids. Alicia and Josh prove time after time they don't actually love these kids. They are cash cows for them, and that's it. All right, everybody, thanks for being here. You're amazing, incredible, and valuable. Don't you forget it. And I will see you when I see you.